Good afternoon. Daniel here with ZCI. I hope you've been well. I know it's been a few weeks since I've released a video, but been quite busy, had a new baby, and made a few more key hires. So that's something you can be excited about in addition to these new awesome t-shirts. Look for these at qualifying roofs near you. And with that being said, I'm going to jump right in to the appraisal process. What is the insurance appraisal process? What does it cost? How long does it take? What are the details involved? When should you use it? Starting off with what is it, right? It's a alternative dispute resolution method. So when you get to a point where your adjuster or your carrier is being unreasonable, then you have a few options. The first, you can sue them. You can hire an attorney. That's likely going to be expensive and time consuming. And to date in Ohio, those attorney's fees are non-recoupable. So that means if you sue an insurance company for $10,000, but you pay the attorney $8,000, then all you're going to get is the $2,000. So in other states that's recoupable. You can sue them for the full 18, pay your attorney and get your $10,000. But in Ohio you can't do that. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to hire an attorney unless it's a larger dispute. You have public adjusters. That's another option, but they're going to be dealing with the exact same unreasonable adjuster or carrier that you've been dealing with. You can give up and take the loss, be treated unfairly, and walk away, or you can go to appraisal. So this is built in where basically if you and the carrier cannot agree on the amount of loss, whether it's the amount of damage or the dollar amount to fix it, then you can hire a third-party, independent, unbiased appraiser, and the insurance company does the same. So these are two independent third-party. They should be under no control from either party. Your appraiser shouldn't have, a high claim value in mind, and theirs shouldn't have a low claim value in mind. They should be completely unbiased and come there and determine the amount of damage, the amount of the loss, or the amount of money it takes to fix it, the amount of loss. Okay, so you need it when the adjuster or carrier, the adjuster and his manager are just being completely unreasonable. They won't see the right damage. They won't, qualify that as damage. They're just looking at, the interior. They won't look at the roof. They're paying $5,000 for a $10,000 job. That's when you really need the appraisal process. Okay, we've already discussed the alternatives: PA, attorney, give up. Now the cost and the time. What is appraisal going to cost you? Because you're going to have to hire an appraiser to go out there and appraise the loss and discuss with their appraiser what the actual amount of the loss is. So when I've done appraisals in the past, I've been between $500 and $1,500 as my cost as the appraiser. Okay, so I'm just going to put $750 for the average. And then time involved, it's usually going to be between 1 and 2 months. All right, so in that 2 months, let's just say 2 months, me and the other appraiser are going to first communicate with each other and select an umpire. The umpire is going to be the tiebreaker. If he, she, I can't agree on the proper method of repairs or the amount of damage or both, then we have an umpire selected who can basically act as the tiebreaker. So first we're going to select the umpire, and then we're going to go out to the property. Now, I want to backtrack a little bit. To actually go to appraisal, you have to send a demand for appraisal to the insurance company, basically stating, hey, you and I have been unable to reach an agreement in the amount of loss. I am submitting this as my demand for appraisal. Here is the person I've appointed as my appraiser. Please have your appraiser contact them within the next 20 days or whatever deadline is set in your policy. And then that is in the appraisal process. Once you send that demand or invocation, then it's in appraisal. Okay, so you'll hire, let's just say I'm the appraiser, you'll hire me, you'll pay me a retainer, maybe it's $250 up front with the rest at the end, maybe it's all up front, and then I communicate with the other appraiser, we select an umpire, we come out, we inspect the loss, and then we each write up our own complete appraisal of the damage and the cost of repairs, and then we send it to each other. We hopefully meet. Only 2 of mine have ever gone to appraisal, but with that being said, I'm using myself as the example, but if we're the contractor on the job, we're not going to be able to act as the appraiser because why? Because we wouldn't be independent at that point. We would have a vested interest in getting you the biggest, most profitable claim possible because we're the ones doing the work. We want to make sure that our costs are covered and we make enough money to stay in business. So we wouldn't be able to be the appraiser if we are the contractor. Okay, we do these appraisals for other contractors. But this is just so you understand what it is, when you need it, and in case you need an explanation. Okay, so we're in month 2. Let's just say we haven't been able to agree. Now we have to bring in the umpire because I know it's a $20,000 loss and this other appraiser is saying it's only $12,000. I'm not going to pay for that. I know that I have the evidence on my side, so I'm going to say, I think it's best if we bring in this third party umpire and have him make the final call. Now the umpire cost is going to be split equally between the two parties. So let's just say the umpire is $2,000 total. That's $1,000 to you and $1,000 to the insurance company. You split it. And that's probably going to add another 1 to 2 months. So let's say you have a $10,000 dispute. You've got the insurance company saying they're going to pay for $2,000 worth of interior damage. There's their RCV. And your contractor is saying the only reason the interior was damaged is because the roof was damaged. So we have to fix that first before we can go and fix the roof. So we're going to have to do the roof, the interior. We're going to need overhead and profit because we're handling that whole claim. So you have your contractor's RCV at, let's say, $20,000. Okay, that's an $18,000 spread. Get a different color. So there's $18,000 spread. Let's say that you end up, the two appraisers end up at, let's just say they didn't totally agree with your contractor's estimate. They went a little bit below your contractor's estimate and they settled at $19,000. So you have an increase of $17,000. And let's just say it does go to umpire. You've paid now $1,750. Should have used round numbers so this is easier, but you're going to end up with $15,250 as a net increase after you pay the umpire and the appraiser. Now, this is a good example, but that's almost a 10x on your investment. Okay, is it always going to be that good? No, but these are the times when you're going to go to appraisal because the attorney might have cost you $5,000, $7,000. The PA, again, would be dealing with that same unreasonable adjuster. And just giving up sometimes seems like it's the easy thing to do. The insurance company knows what they're talking about. I mean, maybe, I'm being unreasonable. Maybe my contractor's being unreasonable. But typically in a case like this where you have your evidence on your side, where maybe all your neighbors got new roofs and it's like, why is Allstate singling me out and I'm the only one in my whole neighborhood who has no damage? Do your research. Make sure you have a contractor you trust. If they're the ones recommending appraisal, make sure you have an appraiser who has a good track record of only taking on claims that he thinks is a no-brainer. Those are the only times that you should go to appraisal, when it's cut and dry, all the evidence on our side, and the insurance company is just being completely unreasonable. This is common. I sent one to our appraiser earlier this year, and it went from $2,000 to I think $14,000, and it only took a couple weeks. It didn't have to go to umpire. It was a pretty quick process. It only cost the homeowner $900, I think. So that, again, that's roughly a 10x on their investment. So that's what appraisal is. That's when you need it. And if you have any questions, let us know.